Hey, I've been playing this game called Pina Pirata, and I think it's a lot of fun, but it's a little bit too slow. And I have a simple rule change that I think has already, for my experience, made the game a lot faster and even more fun. So I'd love to share it with you now and tell you what it's been like. So basically, the way that this game works is it's sort of like Uno, where you have a whole bunch of these cards, where each one of them basically has different pirates on it. Okay, and so these pirates are different colors. So, for example, if this card was showing, it's the penguin and the tiger, then you need to look at your cards and say, oh, okay, do I have a penguin or a tiger? And if I do, if I have this penguin and bunny card, then I could put this on top. And then the next person has to decide if they have a penguin or a bunny, then they could put that card on top. And there's also some cards, like this one, which has just a penguin on it. So it's a little bit different. Most cards have two pirates, but some of them have only one. And yeah, so this game has a little quirk as well, which makes it a little bit different from Uno. And it has these rule change cards. So what this one says is whenever you play a bunny, something special happens. And that is the premise of the game. Basically, you start with 8 cards, and once you run out of cards, you win the round. If you win 4 rounds, then you win the game. However, the rounds are really, really long, and this game has been criticized a little bit for being too long, okay? The game actually recently had a revision. I don't know when it happened. It happened within the last 2 years, where basically all the art on the game was revised. The art is now absolutely beautiful. I really love the character designs that they went with here. And they also made the game a little bit faster. So originally, you would collect... So basically, you're trying to put together a little map. Okay, I'll see if I can do that for you. But basically, if you put these cards together and you flip the rule cards backwards, they spell out a little treasure map. And so you want to basically create an X with the treasure map. And so originally, you had to collect 4, but in the new rule change, they said, hey, you know what? Why don't you start with 1, so you only need to collect 3 more to win the game. So effectively, the game was 75% as long. However, it's still way too long, and it's still not really as fun as I think it could be. Because each round, you add a new rule, which affects the game and makes it a little bit more crazy. And I think that's awesome, and this rule change is going to embrace that idea. So here's the idea. Instead of having multiple rounds, we're going to squeeze them all into one round. So this round, effectively, we don't have to call them rounds anymore. It's just one game. And when the round ends, the game ends. And so within this round, within this game, if you collect 4 treasure tiles, you win. So there's going to be a way to collect treasure tiles within the round. The other thing is if you run out of all your cards, you also win. So we keep the original win state of putting all your cards down, and we've added a new win state of if you collect all 4 treasure tiles. Now, in order to collect treasure tiles, you can play one of these solitary pirates. So originally, this was sort of just like a regular card, but now it's a really good thing to have one of these solitary pirate cards. What it will do is whenever you play one of these pirate cards, again, with only one pirate on the card, you immediately get a treasure token. So this counts towards your 4 points to win the game. So basically, if you play 4 of those, you win the game. And you choose basically 3 face-down treasure cards, pick one, and that new rule immediately gets applied to the existing game. So we're going to have a lot more rules on the table. And actually, in the original rulebook, it had a win condition, which is that, if there's way too many different rule changes on the table that it becomes confusing, then end the game. And I think that's actually really fun. Like, I think the hilarity that ensues of having all these crazy rules pile up, I think that could be a really good time. And so what I've done is I've tried to embrace that idea of the game with one catch. And the catch is if you have a rule that already affects a certain card type. So for existence, this affects the purple octopus, which you see with the icon there. If you draw a new rule that affects the purple octopus, like this one, then this will be placed on top of the old rule. And effectively, the old rule will no longer be. That makes the game a little bit more fast, which again is the whole point of this rule change. So that way, there's only one rule affecting the purple octopuses at any given time. And that's the game. So basically, you can either lose all 8 cards or play enough of those solitary pirate units to collect 4 treasure tokens to win the game. So In my playtesting so far with my family, I've found that this game is already running a lot faster, it's a lot more fun, and with all the different rules constantly being changed, it feels like a bit more of an adventure. There's also this solid feeling of progression that happens where you get one of these cards, one of these treasure tokens, because you're feeling like it can't be taken away from you in a sense. Whereas with the Uno cards, part of the fun and part of the stress is this idea that you could be down to just one card and then go back up to 5. So I think this these treasure cards, of you getting them gradually as you play solitary pirate units, helps sort of foster a feeling of progression in the player that I think is really good. And then the other thing is that when you're playing these solitary pirate units, it really feels like you're holding onto a superpower when you're holding one of these cards. And you also have a little bit of choice with respect to when you play it. Again, it is sort of like Exploding Kittens, where it's a little bit of a crazy game with maybe not as much strategy as we'd expect from another kind of game. But in the the sort of Uno genre, I feel like this rule change helps it move a lot faster, feel a lot more fun, and maybe the player feels like they have a little bit more onus over their own strategy, so to speak. So I'd love to hear what you think about this rule change, and hopefully you can play it with this rule and let me know how it feels. If it feels a little bit faster, feels a little bit more fun, I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.